foreground horizon. Almost all of these are working with either a mountain range or a sea horizon. And then the foreground with the specificities and warmer, darker, more specific for the foreground. And I am going to start. I'm gonna make myself a rectangle. And I am going to, ooh, yellow. Well, good. See, everything is important. I'm going to lay down the sky and just everything comes underneath and then build it up.
Now, Deborah, do you usually paint flat or do you paint on a slant?
I paint usually on a slant, but and I use almost exclusively heavyweight paper, and I do a lot of this, moving around, always. But my drawing, I usually use a drawing board, unless something's very large, and then I use an easel. But so it's about like that. So now I'm going to. That little yellow is just what I wanted, and truly it is. Now I'm going to do a little sky, including a little more yellow here, and
what blue is that?
That was cobalt, but I deliberately am incorporating a little yellow. And as I come down, I'm going to bring up a little yellow too. And then this is where I would use the paper, and gravity. And depending on your paper, what kind of mixing happens or accidents. This is pretty close to what that is. This is Fabriano Artistico. This was what they claimed to have put in as a substitute when they discontinued that paper. So, so there's a sort of sky to begin with. And you just have to watch it a little, but you might want some wonderful accidents. And I might want, what I kind of like in that sky is a little neutralizing of it, which would get rid of this blue. I mean, it would temper it a little, because I kind of like how, by getting a little bit of the orange into this, it mixes to create a neutral with the cobalt, and it also gives a bit more feeling of that dawn or sunset. That little bit of red percolates into it. But on this, I'm just going to have it sort of a straightforward sky.
Would you have to wait until it dries?
No, I would do it now. I mean, you can always do a wet wash over the dry. Why don't I just, since I'm talking about it, I will do it, a little bit of it. Put a little bit of transparent Pyrrole orange. And depending on your paper, of course, you will get how it mixes. You know, this can mix very nicely. That was the transparent Pyrrole orange. And it's going to give a little bit of a feeling, you know, of this. But, and this is how I do a lot of mixing if I'm using something like a graded wash. I do it with this. And this is where, actually, where you want to be very observant of whatever you're getting into this. And it may not be just as what you thought originally. You might have thought, oh, I wanted my sky to be a little bit better. But it could very likely be better. And you have to wait, you have to be patient. The striation that you're getting could be terrific, or it could be you want a little less, but you see it's still working. There's still a lot of stuff going on. I am going to continue down here, and I'm thinking about these, most of the structure stuff, and this is sort of not a very good example, but it's a little bit of an example. The I never finished this, I sort of played with it. But all this structure-y stuff happens a little later with pulling out or coming back. Oops, that's manganese. At all times, this is why a demonstration is sort of difficult, because at all times you just have to be thinking of this, how dry it is. And as you're working on your own, you will know. You'll have that, you'll know what it is. And remember, if you're checking for drying and you can't quite tell and it's lost the gloss, check with the back of your hand rather than your palm, because your palm has so much heat, and you'll feel cool coming up from it. If you're not really sure. But, okay, this is, I'm sure, going to be a raucously colorful painting. And I am sort of exploiting that little yellow in the sky up here and trying to pick up on that. And I'm going to continue to layer. I'm getting a little bit more color in. And a lot of this.
Now, are you just sort of thinking that you're sort of trying to duplicate this?
A little bit, yeah. Probably not totally, but I'm putting down color that some of it may be removed. And some of it I want it to mix in here, like maybe with a little more green to a tree line in here. I love this red band, whatever it is. So I'm going to put some of that in too. I've been noticing with transparent Pyrrole orange, which not everyone, but many of you use, especially Margetta, and I know Margetta knew this a long time ago, but I was trying to remove a lot of stuff in some painting I was doing, and it is best, it is so transparent, so unstaining, it just removed everywhere. All right, now a little bit more dark. This is some transparent carbazole violet and perylene green, and this is my base of my foreground. And every once in a while I have a little part here which is totally that I didn't do anything with, and I'll just see what happens there. But so here's a little field or a water feature in here, but depending on what I do, it could be a lake there, it could be a field in the light. Now see how nice that sky is, and that's basically because the paper did it, the water did it. And but you should be loose with your sky and let it, when it just sort of, and also be experimental. Try different, try cerulean and I still might use the transparent Pyrrole. Now maybe I'll make this one a subtle one. Only up here and not here, because I went back in here. There's not much I can come too much in with because it's so wet. So in the interest of demonstrations, which are by nature, have to sort of, there should be a lag time when we come back to this. We may have to do that.
Hey, Deborah, when you're putting those lines down, you're thinking of something. Are you thinking of the composition? Are you thinking of where you want the darks to draw the eye in? I noticed that in both of these you left kind of a little Like,
Yeah,
is
I'm
that
going
an
to-
entryway? I mean, what are you thinking?
Yes, well, that would be always, and that, you know, I did later, but by removal. An entryway in landscape is always a wonderful thing. It almost always happens, actually. You know, either you're there and there's a road, or, you know, like Judy, your piece from Provence. So it's everything. It's compositional. I guess I'm a little bit trying to duplicate this. And whenever you use removal, it's going to, you get a different kind of line than when you put something on it. So it's a nice thing to exploit. You get, let's go to this little,
And your removal is just clear water?
just clear water, and you have to, it depends on the degree of dryness of what you've got down. See, this is basically taking out almost all of that, except there's going to be a halo of yellow. And then you can sort of carve out shapes like that, which I like about removal in general, is you get these halos that happen with the color. Maybe I'm going to just make this a little different and soften the color here and come down with a, if you, in using removal 2, you sometimes take all the color away. You're going to have to come back and add something in to a little bit of a mountain form.
And are you pretty much sticking to transparent colors? Or not necessarily?
Well, most of them are. I would say almost all of them are. Okay, I put more water in order to get more another little shape here, but also to make this distribute again.
Is that black?
No, it was Caroline green.
Oh.
And one thing is just, I mean, with the trying to put some strong stuff in the foreground, so that's why, and do some nice stuff there.